Hey everyone, welcome to the Vision Factory Trading Co. I'm going to go through today's price action. Today is October 30th, 2025. I trade two things. I mainly use LUX ALGO indicators, and I also pay attention to the volume profile on the daily time frame. So I wanted to go ahead and start with the volume profile first. We also didn't really have any news today. We had some yellow folder stuff, nothing super significant. President Trump is in China at the moment, but didn't really seem like we got any sort of action really based off of that I'm aware of. The first thing that I want to take note of is that yesterday we had built this node up here, kind of chopping around it yesterday, and then overnight session we had some pretty volatile moves, but then we lost that node by the time New York opened, and so that immediately will signal that we're somewhat bearish. We're intraday bearish at least. Of course, if we make a recovery during New York, then that's different. That means that New York is rejecting this and that we're going to go higher. But the fact that overnight couldn't maintain this would say, let's look for something lower. So we had some untested value areas down here, and that's kind of where we ended up living most of the day. Now, if we go over to Lux Algo, and now I want to talk about this Lux Algo stuff because it's actually really crazy how this has been working and been helping my trading. And I do plan on having an affiliate link soon. I'm just waiting for them to get back to me on if we can do that. But I believe in it so much that I actually, I'm like, dude, if I can, make some content around this and help some other people and whatnot, then I think that'd be really awesome. So anyways, let's get into it. So here's 9:30. So here's New York Open. Now, if you trade prior to 9:30, we can discuss that really quick. We can see here that during the overnight session, we had a lot of chop. This is the 5-minute time frame, and we will go to the 15-minute in a second as well. But we can see that it looks like around midnight New York, we kind of have this drop. We essentially shift from this bullish to this bearish, and then we come back up, we test it, and then we get a nice 136-point drop from the smart trail. I do have a video coming out kind of explaining some of these pieces, but you can also look, just look up Lux Algo, and it'll kind of explain what some of these things do on YouTube. And so you had some really nice scalps. You had one here, you had one here, you had one here, you had another one here, you had another one here. And if you had your stop, depending on how you trade, but if you had your stop anywhere back here, you actually did really well. You actually never got stopped. And in fact, by the time New York opened, you actually got a significant drop. And so let's talk about that. So New York opens, we have about a 186-point drop roughly. And what was amazing is that we get this. I got to my desk somewhere right around here, and mainly because I just don't trade New York Open. And what was amazing was we pushed beyond it. Now, what I was looking at, if we look at the 15-minute, is our trend catcher and trend tracer were up here, and the 5-minute was somewhere down here for its time frame. And so I kind of knew, like, hey, like I remember this candle was just, one of the things with especially going back hindsight and looking at the market is you don't actually get to see how the candles formed. It's not just what the candle is that formed, it's how did it form. And this was like ripping through here, just absolutely ripping. And so to me, it was like, this is not a place to short because of how aggressive it looked. So we ended up breaking through there. So then my attention gets onto these 15-minute levels up here, which is the higher time frame. We pushed up again with the 5-minute. We had this kind of range candle here. And that to me, again, signaled like, hey, it's probably not time to short yet. Let's wait to see if we can get a wick. Well, the very next candle pushed up. And I still remember this. I actually didn't take this short here. But we pushed up into the smart trail on the 5-minute. And at that point, we were pretty close to tagging into the cloud area of it on the 15. And so I was like, man, this would be a really nice short. If you took this short here, if you took it on the way up, you took about 15 points of heat. But if you waited till it kind of came back down into it, then you probably could have set yourself like a nice 20-point stop off of that wick. Because if it blasted through this, then the entire structure of the day would change. And so it ended up being a really nice short from there. I think, if you took anywhere in here, at one point you got down to almost 200 points. Like, granted, you had to wait a while, but that's kind of the nice thing about this LUX algo indicator is that you could have taken a short here, and my first TP would have been the trend catcher right here. Or sorry, this is the trend chaser. And that's 88 points. You even got a scalp off of it, if you see here, where you could have taken a long here, a little long scalp, and even another one here. You had a second one there. And again, that's about 13 points of heat for roughly about 35 points. So quick scalp. Again, we're bearish because we haven't flipped bullish on the day. And then the 15-minute just started really chopping around a lot. And so my trade that I took today, I only took one, and I took a short right in here. I meant to take right here. I literally watched it come and then watched it go. And so I was like, oh man, like that's, I was looking for this. And then, yeah, I should have taken it there. It was pretty obvious that we were still in some sort of downtrend here. But I took the next setup that came, which was this guy here. And so I got in somewhere around here, had my stop a little bit behind there. Actually, no, I had my stop at this wick high, because if we pushed back into that, then to me, I was going to wait till much higher. And then I think I took like a 1-to-1 here. I think I had one contract on, and then I added a second one once it started to kind of move in my favor. But that was essentially my scalp based off of the trend catcher and trend chaser. And what's nice is that you get so many opportunities. Like there was actually a lot of opportunity today, but I took the one and left because I just wasn't feeling good today. But we get this nice push back up, and it looks ultra bull, but like we're still in this downtrend. And so yeah, we break above it, but like, do you want to be shorting this? Probably not, especially now the colors are confirming bullish. And so you want to wait. We turn purple, we turn red, and then we stay in these red candles, and we get a nice tag right here again. Like this is not a bad short. If you just put your stop right up there, that's 20 points. I mean, if you would have just held that through the end of the day, you got another 150 points. Again, granted, like you have to wait. So if you're looking for, 100 points in 2 minutes, that's not going to happen. But, 100 points in an hour or two is very likely. And so what is cool about this system is that you can get into a trade. And what I would have done here, I would have had my stop here for that wick high. And then I would have had my first TP right here at the trend chaser, because I've seen this happen so many times where we get stuck between them and we just kind of bounce back and forth. And so these are all, and again, I'm only looking for shorts because we're still bearish on the day. And so you could just keep, realistically, if you did that, you got probably like 2 shorts out of it there. You got another short out of it here and another short out of it here. And so these things can become money printers. They're really, really powerful. But then, if you have runners going, then yeah, you finally got a runner here down towards, as we're kind of coming to the close, almost 200 points. Obviously, it's a very volatile day, so not every day is going to be 200 points. Maybe it might be 50 points. But and then during power hour, we kind of got this nice, strong bullish candle. Now being able to read price structure without the indicator, obviously we are kind of recovering this level. And so at that point, my ears or my eyes kind of, I become a little bit more aware. And I start to look and go, okay, well, what is price trying to do? Like, is it trying to shorten this area? Obviously not. Like, we just kind of blasted through this. And so at this point, am I ultra bull? No. But am I taking shorts? Probably not. I'm probably waiting to see what we're going to do. I don't trade power hour, but I just want to give you an idea of, like, when do you start looking for longs? And in this case, I don't actually know if I would have taken this, but you could have. It was just a day for shorts, really. But if I was gonna look at one thing and say, when do you start looking for longs? It was the moment we flipped the smart trail to bullish. And then it's like, okay, like we've officially broken past this smart trail and we've flipped bullish. Now I'm going to start looking for longs. So if you waited about 15 more minutes, we had a really volatile move here right at the close. You could have taken a long there. You would have taken some heat at about 40 points. That's kind of a lot unless you're trading, just 1 or 2 micros. But again, not something that really would be worth it to me. But anyways, I just wanted to go over the day, go over the LUX algo signals and overlays indicator with you guys. If you like these reviews, please let me know. I am planning on doing a lot more of these, and then including some live trading in the future. But for now, I just want to kind of cover some of this and just see if it's helpful for anyone. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, throw them in the comments. I'm happy to answer any and all of those, and happy trading.